Grace and peace to you. I am Bishop Shelley Bryan Wee, and along with the Northwest Washington Grace Grant Committee and the Northwest Washington Synod Council, it is our pleasure and delight to announce the first recipients of Grace Grants. First, we are so thankful to Grace Lutheran Church, Bellevue, that in their legacy concerns, they gave a percentage of closing assets to the Northwest Washington Synod Council to use as the council desired. Second, we are so thankful to the Northwest Washington Synod Council for choosing to give this money back to congregations and ministry sites in this synod who are doing amazing things. Third, we are so thankful to the congregations and ministry sites that applied for a Grace Grant. The Grace Grant Committee was delighted at the various and important ways that Jesus' love and grace are being shared in the communities around this synod. Thank you to you all. As many of you know, we were overwhelmed at the amount of Grace Grant applications we received. 56 applications, totaling $659,841 in requests. While it was exciting to see the many excellent ideas for serving God's people through ministries of the Northwest Washington Synod, it also made it challenging to select the recipients. We wish that we had the $660,000 to fund all of the exciting and enriching projects. That said, the Synod Council did approve an additional $50,000 in funding due to some additional monies that came in from the sale of the Grace Lutheran Church property in the last month. So, we are pleased to announce that we will be giving out $150,000 in Grace Grants each year for the next 3 years with this additional monies. As the committee determined who would receive grants, some considerations were taken. The 4 focus areas of the Synod: leadership development, building community, faithful innovation, and youth and young adults. The committee also wanted to award grants to a diverse range of types of ministry projects and at various investment levels. We looked at urban, suburban, and small-town rural congregations. We looked at various parts of the Synod and who served a variety of populations, especially vulnerable populations. So with that said, we are excited to now announce the recipients of this year's Grace Grants.
So the first grant we'd like to share with you is to Christ Lutheran in Ferndale of $6,000 to a project called Godly Play on the Road. The congregation is currently using Godly Play as their Sunday school curriculum, and this has been such a joyful experience that they wanted to share it on the road, particularly to unchurched families in community who would probably never step foot in a church building, so that they too could experience Godly Play. The goal then is to bring Godly Play to where the people are.
Our second award goes to the Church of the Apostles. It's a $10,000 grant for their project, Digital Church Resources, Building Alternative Community Connections. CODA has a demonstrated track record of using faithful innovation to assist in building community through co-creation of worship. This grant will A, increase CODA's ability to actively engage the congregation in the co-creation of worship, as contrasted with simple consumption, and B, develop tools and strategies that can be shared with other churches seeking to increase the engagement of their congregations. Congratulations, CODA.
We are delighted to award a $4,000 grant to Echoes in Bellingham. Through their outreach LGBTQ+ community connections, they identify gaps within the community in Whatcom County, and they provide ministry and context and broaden their current outreach. This grant will allow them to seek to build bridges not only among this community and members of the various faith communities in Whatcom County, but also to help younger and older members of the LGBTQ+ community meet and interact with one another.
Faith Lutheran Church in Marysville has been doing work with primarily the youth around their church for a couple of years. The current project they are working on is to build out 2 spaces for the youth in their community. They want to create a computer lab for students and create a recording studio for students. We are excited to announce that Faith in Marysville will receive a $20,000 grant to continue to faithfully innovate and serve and partner with the school and youth in their neighborhood.
We would also like to grant $20,000 toward a project named North County Missional Learning Experiment through Faith Lutheran in Marysville and Freeborn Lutheran in Stanwood, two increasingly interconnected congregations who will use this grant to continue to intentionally build relationships with each other, the North Snohomish County Lutheran churches, and the wider community. So this grant will provide them with 1 year to experiment with and develop a parish-wide model which might be used in other contexts.
Through their urban permaculture farm project, Gift of Grace Lutheran Church in Seattle is radically rethinking and reshaping life as an urban congregation. The chickens, the gardens, and the serving of people who are houseless are part of Gift of Grace's culture and ministry. Jesus' call to love God and love neighbor are shown in Gift of Grace's ethics driven by 1, care for the earth, 2, care for people, and 3, return of surplus to the earth and to people, calling all of us to transition to use renewable energy as we are able. Specifically, this grant will be directed toward installing solar panels in their church roof. Congratulations, Gift of Grace, upon receiving a $12,000 Grace Grant towards this endeavor.
Our next recipient is Gloria Day Lutheran Church in Linwood. They are receiving a grant of $3,000. The Gloria Day Men's Group recognizes the need for housing alternatives for the homeless, something that allows individuals to maintain their dignity, have a safe place to call home, and a supportive community that supports their transition to permanent housing. The group will use this grant to build a tiny house. They see this project not only as a way to support a critical community need, but also a way to strengthen their group's fellowship. They plan to construct the tiny house on the Gloria Day church property to bring awareness of this critical community need and to provide an opportunity for the congregation's youth to participate. An excellent intergenerational project. Congratulations, Gloria Day.
Based on projections of the COVID-19 outbreak, Holy Spirit Lutheran Church in Kirkland decided to move their VBS program online for this year, but they were concerned about families who might not be able to participate if they do not have a device and/or a reliable internet connection. Their goal is to provide these items to families who register as needed in order to provide the community access to VBS. We are pleased to grant them $2,000 towards this endeavor.
We would also like to grant Josephine Caring Community $6,000 to establish a memory cafe. A memory cafe provides social opportunities for people living with dementia and their caregivers in a warm, relaxed atmosphere. It models a non-institutional setting where guests can find low barrier, welcoming experiences that foster purposeful connections. The ministry project is a missional outreach that serves a vulnerable population who do not often show up on the radar. The expectation is that this will continue to be an outreach supported by their congregational partners and the broader community.
Lake Ridge Lutheran Church in Seattle is a multicultural, multi-age congregation who strives to work in the neighborhood around them. The grant they are being awarded will go towards the Center of Hope Family Shelter, which will move into space at Lake Ridge Lutheran Church. They will adapt their existing church fellowship space to serve as a transitional shelter for families. The committee is also pleased this is an ecumenical partnership with REACH, Renton Ecumenical Association of Churches. Congratulations, Lake Ridge, upon receiving a $20,000 Grace Grant.
Our next Grace Grant recipient is Point of Grace Lutheran Church in Mukilteo. They are receiving a grant of $6,000 for their Packs for Kids project. This project provides nourishment and support for 88 Mukilteo area children who may not have enough to eat at home. The packs given out toward the end of each week contain a weekend's worth of food for 2 students. The existing project has been successful in strengthening the relations within the community, in reaching out to the youth and young adults in the Mukilteo area. And with this grant, Point of Grace will be able to double the number of children served each week.
Our next Grace Grant is awarded to Prince of Peace and CTAC. With this grant, Prince of Peace will establish a faith-based program for children and youth in the community, a place where they can come and feel safe, have a sense of belonging, and spend time after school to complete homework, receive tutoring, and engage in extracurricular activities and hobbies. Through leadership and mentoring programs, Prince of Peace will host group forums where youth can discuss, ask questions, and comment on topics of their choice, as well as other activities to build their self-esteem and self-image and community connection. We are pleased to be able to provide them with $15,000 towards this project.
And to Sammamish Lutheran, we'd like to grant $2,000 to their Day of Service website project. The Sammamish Hill Day of Service is an event that started 9 years ago to help congregation members get out of their pews and to be the hands and feet of God. In the first year, with a weekly worship attendance of 125 people, they were thrilled when 216 people volunteered. Now they have 40 different organizations with whom they volunteer, and with 1,200 to 1,500 volunteers in 13 cities. The grant will help them create a website to track this activity, saving hundreds of hours of volunteer work and providing efficiency to continue the growth of this outreach program.
The next Grace Grant recipient is University Lutheran Church in Seattle. They are being awarded a $20,000 grant, and with this, they will rekindle their connections with the University of Washington community. In order to do this, they'll call a part-time rostered leader to specialize in supporting and nurturing the faith of young people. In addition to serving current University Lutheran Church youth, this grant will help the congregation extend outreach to the U District community. Specifically, University Lutheran Church desires to house Lutheran campus ministry, providing office space, meeting space for students, facilities to create student dinners, and the unique ability to interact with the programming of this multi-generational congregation. Congratulations, University Lutheran Church.
Vashon Lutheran on Vashon Island. Since 2017, Vashon Lutheran has donated space for the Vashon Care Closet, and VLC members have been active volunteers in the program. The church stores medical equipment and personal hygiene supplies donated to people in need. The Grace Grant Vashon is being awarded will allow VLC to build storage units, allowing them to respond to requests that cannot be filled currently, such as hospital beds, the cost of repairing decks or steps for those living with disabilities, and other things. This is especially important during the COVID-19 crisis. Congratulations, Vashon, upon receiving a $4,000 Grace Grant.
Congratulations to all of our Grace Grant recipients, and thanks to all those who shared their exciting and innovative ministry ideas with us. And special thanks to Grace Lutheran in Bellevue for thinking of us in their planning so that we are able to extend ministry throughout our synod. Blessings to all of you.